And it might apply to speakers for next month. You should think about who you'd like here or what you'd like to present. And so with that thought, so while you're listening to Bob, you can be thinking about that. And with that, I'll head over to Bob Armstrong.
Okay. Oh, share. Okay. Screen share. Now you all are reduced to a little strip in the corner. But I guess you're seeing my screen?
We are seeing your screen at this time.
Okay, well, I will tap F11 to put down, and actually, it's becoming more important in lots of cases, it's turning on the clock by putting an asterisk. I've now gone and made little functions to go and add up all the intervals between my timestamps to do accounting. Anyway, yeah, mainly I am looking at doing this thing, which Sam, creating a business can be an awful lot harder than doing the techie stuff. But one thing, in a sense, I sort of see what I'm trying to work with, with CoSy is connecting this world. We've just had these talks about down at even the FPGA level, and the simplest, path to having a dictionary. I see Forth, sort of can look at competing with things at the level of C or Java, and in fact, without question, very much all the other APLs are built in C. So the thing is that Forth is just simply a generation beyond in terms of the thoughts. But really to go and sort of compete at the level of JavaScript or Python, where you have dynamic objects, and even much less CoSy, which is again evolved from Ken and Arthur and so forth. But it really is at the APL. I mean, it's competitive with any APL at this point. But it closes the circle. It's just an open vocabulary in a Forth, and more fundamentally, any Forth. That's, yes, it's in a specific Forth, but that's not the vision. And one of the aspects of both APL and K and Forth, which so far as I know, is pretty well, I guess it's not totally unique, but the thing is, you're going and you program, you create words. You don't create programs that then must be strung together in some operating system sort of mechanism. Anyway, let me control F9. This was my original invitation that I set up, looking at starting to get make a business with clients on one side and programmers on the other, if you will. And you can read this essentially, though it really is the path through Ken Iverson's APL, through Arthur Whitney's K, simplified APL, and even more simplified, and now open in Forth. I got a question on Facebook on, okay, from Forth group there, okay, what is APL? And actually ended up looking up the Wikipedia. article, which is really pretty decent, and also the K, and these are good links. By the way, this actually this presentation is already, most of it's already uploaded. Anyway, that's all I'll say. I'll get back to one item later, but Bill's factorial challenge is actually, it's a rather, factorials are very important for computing combination, well, for all sorts of things, but essentially factorials with a relatively large n in calculating combinations and just binomial expansion and so forth. And one thing, oh, yes. This originally got mentioned. I have this blog structure, which if you look at CoSy itself, you'll see actually now is quite useful because I've got anchors on all of this, and all of the coding is done in CoSy. Anything you see from me, all this CoSy and a few utilities like this IUP. But I went and just executed it, and in current CoSy, well, one thing, factorial is so important, it deserves a better, you know, I mean, particularly when you've got it in a formula where you've got ratios of factorials is very common. To have this, I think, is a reasonable name. And I'm not doing Bill's problem. I'm doing this thing, which actually it points out fails at 13. Anyway, this is defining iota plus 1 is the numbers 1 through n, and tick goes and of course gives the xt, in this case of an integer times, and then this is where in a sense you get into the APLE stuff where you can use the ability to have an xt and then just have an operator that essentially does a loop, in this case across. So this is the whole definition. It wouldn't change much. So for instance, there's 6, and this takes it off of the F86 x86 stack and turns it into a one-item CoSy vector. But one of the things is to go and let me go through these. Whoops, I thought I was down this line. So there's 20 iota. That's one of the strangest, but a lot of other languages I understand have gone and done that. Add 1 to them all so that you've got first 20. This is essentially just the line that I executed to create, okay, you've got a list, first list, this is the dot here is essentially dupe, but dupe with handling and memory management. But then I've got something, a function that I'm considering, you know, I find very useful, that just formats lists of lists. But to get done, to really be, what I really like to see is actually rationals, big rationals, because that's what the whole game is about. And it turns out that there are two, this apnea and big, or there's big. I don't know why this other is named apnea, but this apparently goes and does it by using strings. I didn't even notice that until the other day. Oh, this is obviously up there, but there's this big thing, and I really look forward to, in a sense, Bill's problem goes and asks, okay, what's the best way to multiply big nums? And that's about, 1/4 of all the vocabulary you need. So I look forward in the sense that whoever wins the challenge perhaps has the best algorithm for doing just general big number arithmetic and ratios. One of the things that strikes me is one of the real unique notions in fourth. Fourth is a natural in a sense in terms of lines, because it's always sort of done that. It really likes integer rational arithmetic. But anyway, that's the last I'll say. This is in terms of what I plan to do this afternoon. I'm going to go and have a Zoom. But looking at getting a cash flow going, but having a return for anybody who produces useful code. That sort of sets the arrow of the flows. I've already uploaded the presentations and the notes here, and most importantly, I've decided that I got this out. The whole notion of having a Zoom very just a few days ago. I really wanted to have a poll on sort of what works, what would be good times. But I said I didn't find any good polling widget. Anyway, so it's open. The whole thing's open for anybody who comes here, and all the here are the meeting details and so forth. And actually, since I don't have anchors in this, but you get down here today, anybody who's interested in and the main focus, really the main focus is simply going to get people to work through downloading and getting it running on people's machines. Because once you're in there and once the language is working, then you can then you're up live in it, and all the help and all of that, is more. You learn by doing. That's always been the only way I've ever learned how to do anything is by diving into it and doing it. Anyway, that's my spiel, and I will. Any questions, any comments, any suggestions?
How would you represent big nums on the stack as a pointer to the data?
Oh, yeah, everything in CoSy is that's one of the things when you create an array. I've gone through this actually. If I scroll up on previous things, because I've repeated it quite a bit. A CoSy object is just a triple. The first three, the header is type, so you'd need to add a big num type or a big rationals type. I'm trying to see where I have, because I keep pointing out that CoSy header, it's type. Then well, I could have written it myself by now. I thought anyway, it's in here. Actually, a word that I find, or a phrase that I find very useful is it's type count, and that's the number of items, and that's actually same notation as Arthur uses. And then ref ref count, and the ref count and this this tick and so forth. That tick gives words, so that produces a list of words. And if I went, as a matter of fact, let me do dump that. And right now I'm hitting Shift F6, which goes and just does things in raw forth. So the header, the type 0 is a general list, a list of lists. Okay, and then there are 3 items in it, and it's got a couple of references on it, and then these actually, if you well, these are the addresses of each of those strings. So if I took the address, let's see, I'm not going to try to go, but in any case, one of the things you see that actually, if you will, it blows people on the APL end of things away is the fact that you can just go and be looking so directly at the innards of the system. And for that matter, go and change it. That's the thing. This is enormously more flexible than either traditional APLs or K, because again, they have this boundary and the separation between programming and using. So, good question. Thanks for the question. Understand that. And follow that at all? I mean, I think it goes, again, actually, this is something that could only be presented to a fourth audience.
So I know that, and I know the answer to this because I know I've asked years ago, but just I'm going to re-ask this question because for the benefit of the people here. The vocabulary that is used by CoSy right now is tied pretty tightly to Riva fourth, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you know, well, I don't know exactly what you mean by one of the things, and as soon as any, yeah, I would not say that it's tightly connected. I think Riva, one of the things in a sense that actually may seem trivial, but one of the reasons I chose Riva, first of all, because it really was a fourth that was based right down in a chip language, x86, which was the only practical thing to do. The other thing that it was very practically oriented in terms of connecting with the operating system and all of that. But in terms of any specific vocabulary, it's evolved from retroforth, I guess, but and one of the things that I like about it, it's got a symmetric comment symbol. That may seem minor, but it's actually the splitting up of things on either symmetric or asymmetric, you know, pairs of items makes a, you know, this is the symmetric separator. In any case, oh, what did I want to say? No, there's absolutely the Riva was created, and there were a number of very brilliant people. I really think Helmer Vodka, for instance, did the sort function that I use. He's brilliant, but I believe he really is. Well, a guy named Childers, I guess, did the original retroforth. And apparently this has all evolved from that. But in some ways, I consider the fourth, boy, anybody want to go and, I mean, this to me is a worthwhile project. I mean, the highest priority actually is I'm just so naive about anything outside of my path that I don't know how to go and talk to the web, or for that matter, talk to, you know, through sockets. And there's a sockets vocabulary, but this is the thing is I've reached the point where without question, I need other heads. I need other heads. It's just not, no, now's the time to try to figure out how to build a team and cash flow to support that team so things can start evolving much more rapidly. Yeah.
Bob, can you tell us about your Zoom that's going to follow this Zoom? What time does it start and where would one go to join?
Okay.
Where's the announcement?
Well, I actually go to, I'll post. I actually have, like I said, well, here, I'm going to actually go and update this right now. Okay, this text is all the text in this window, which is here. Oh, there it is. In any case, I put the comments in the again. Okay. Now write it out to a local file. And actually one of the things is this is one of those other things I use. It's here, uploaded it. Now it's up at CoSy.com/Y21, which is an open directory. So you'll see this as the newest thing that's up. And I'm inviting you all. My aim is at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. So 4 o'clock, I get, no. 2 o'clock? Your time, yes. But here's the info on it. And that's now up on the web. So.
The web's pretty big. Where on the web? What's the first stop that I would go to?
Yeah, okay. Go to CoSy.com/Y21. Okay. And here, go last modified. Whoops, that's first modified. Flip it. There's all the info. Now I don't have a thing in there. But the intro, the main goal, and now I'm looking at this on the web, is just how to, going through the mechanics of downloading it from, and it's just, you probably have the.
So this is intended to serve as an intro to CoSy, correct?
And an intro most particularly in actually downloading it and getting it running on a person's machine. Because well, here, going through on CoSy, you go to code and download the zip, but the real thing, and I'm now going through essentially what I'm going to do, is simplest procedures, make a directory for it. And Riva, like I saw at Euroforth particularly, that it's not alone in having problems with virus. That's a reason alone to go and get it to a fresh, modern, supported Forth. And Ron Ahrens has gone off and done his own 8th, which, but bottom line is I want it to be more generic. What CoSy is middleware. It's in any case, the whole thing is, here's the whole sequence to go through on a Windows machine to just simply exclude that folder that you create from security, but then download and do it. But on the conference, I'll go through the entire process, and hopefully anybody who joins me will go and see that it works for them. Because once you're up and running in the environment, and I've tried this a couple of times, actually, I'm thinking, I'm going to go over to my everyday stuff, because one of the things is I've got links to starting up all sorts of the different, well, I normally start up, these are all start files going, and yeah, I generally have a work log running, which is looking like that, and that's smaller font. I thought I had it in a bigger font for here. But I wanted to, yeah, this is, whoop, didn't mean to have. Well, this is almost what you get when you start up, and essentially it starts telling you, okay, execute that line and you'll get a result, start off. You F6. So from there on, and it goes through the help, various help words and so forth. I mean, this is all, you're in the documentation then. And you're in it so that any line you see, like my hello world, and compare this on one of the things on, oops, that's not the, that's more, yeah. Let me go back. This should give me back to, oh, I'm not. Got so many cozies.
We're sort of rambling here a little bit, and
a little bit.
Bill says we should move on, and I
Yeah,
always
no,
inclined to listen to his advice on those
anyway,
matters.
You know what to expect this this afternoon.
Yeah, going forward, I suggest you maybe post it in boldface, on one page that you put a link to on your main screen, so you can just go to CoSy and go straight to a Zoom link, and you click the Zoom link. Free advice, worth what you paid for it. So any 30-second up that you care to do, Bob?
Pardon?
Do you have anything else you'd like to say in the next 30 seconds before we move on?
Oh, that should be sufficient.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So, do you share your screen?
Okay.
And what I'd like to do is go quickly around the room. We have about 20 minutes before we're going to light the fuse on the challenge,
Sure.
which is the one specific thing that has a specific time tag on it. So what I'd like to do is ask everybody who you are, where you are, and maybe give an example of a talk that you might be willing to give here in January or some coming month, and then maybe a suggestion for somebody else you'd like to hear. And one or the other would be appreciated. If you don't have anything, just pass. That's fine too, I suppose. I'd rather you pass though. All right, so I'm Kevin Appert, your program chairman, assembler of this morass every month. We'll go back to the fourth Saturday of the month in January. December and November are exceptions to that rule. And May, I guess, is maybe meeting. That's been traditionally our break, but we've steered away from that. So where am I? I'm in Sunnyvale, California right now, where my home is. And in terms of what I can deliver in maybe January, maybe some coming month, is a recap of my resources talk, with maybe a few more resources and actual links on actual PowerPoint slides, so that Dave can have something to put on that resources webpage that's actually written out, rather than having to assemble duct tape and baling wire. I wonder where you'd get baling wire these days. I guess it's baling cord now. They don't use the baling wire so much anymore. And as far as what other speakers one might get, I've liked the challenges so much, and especially the early ones where folks like Charles Curley showed up and delivered such excellent presentations. Now we just have to count on Brad every month when there's a challenge to rise to it. So the other thing I like is old Fourth projects that we can point to from Fourth Incorporated's website or from all of you. So that's another thing that I'd like to see revisited. So I see Dennis is not at his microphone button. So I'm going to suck him in next. What are you going to deliver? And so it's who are you? Where are you? What are you going to deliver? And what would you like to hear with the show, Dennis?
Deliver when? Was I supposed to be listening?
Nah. You're Dennis, right? So that's
last I checked.
Where are you, Dennis?
I'm in Sunnyvale. I'm Dennis Roofer.
Cool.
I'm in Sunnyvale also.
In January or coming months, would you be willing to deliver a talk and maybe give us some idea of what you'd like to talk about?
If I ever get time to finish the fourth on Zephyr, I will talk about that. Who knows when that's going to happen. Otherwise, I'm not sure I've got anything to talk about.
Is there anybody in particular that you'd like to hear from?
I find all of the topics relatively entertaining, so I don't have anything special. Oh, that's what I did want to mention. Larry Forsley is here, is in the area. He is now on, what's the beach on the west side of San Francisco? No,
Ocean Beach?
Ocean Beach. He's in Ocean Beach now. So, and he said he would drop in, but I haven't heard him drop in yet. I was hoping he'd be here today, but I don't see him. And we can probably get him to talk. So that would be somebody I would like to hear talk, is Larry.
Send me contact information for Larry if you'd be so kind.
I suppose I can do that and let you bug him.
That's fine. That's kind of my job.
Yep, I will. I may ping him first, but and ask if that's okay.
Yeah. Send him my email address with instructions to contact me, and he can either choose to do so or not.
That's even better. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I will do
All
that.
right.
Yeah. I talked to him for I think on LinkedIn or something that
Awesome. Yeah.
I saw he was. I sent him a note and he said, "Oh yeah, he's up in up there in San Francisco now." And I said, "Well, you should stop by," and I sent him the link to meet up. So, all
right, we're going to go off the rails for a second. So, Open Boot had these tokens, and Java, has the engine has these tokens, sort of token threaded stuff. So, is one descended from the other, and if so, which? Anybody know?
Open Boot might be one of the originals that did a token system.
Are they both descended from BASIC in that sense?
No, that was Mitch Bradley and Ron Hucksprung at Apple and Sun.
Okay, so that's a great talk that you could give, is the history of Open Boot and who did what to whom. Maybe 10 minutes thereof. How many people know this stuff other than you?
Mitch Bradley, Ron Hucksprung. All of us are getting old. and our memories
Yeah,
are
I haven't been
failing.
successful at getting Mitch to talk about any of it.
I
All
have
right,
not.
anybody
Yeah,
want to go next? Ting wants to go next.
Yeah, the Don Golding recommended this ICE 40 FPGA, and he is going to put a 4 on it, and I'm still waiting him to put it on this one, and to show us how to do it. Okay,
Is that a, did you say it's an FPGA?
it's an FPGA, and it's called Arduino, and it's
Okay.
$25 a piece. The FPGA has 5,000 logic units on it, and I think it is enough to put that 4 down. So I'm still waiting him to put that 4 down and show us the code and let us how to run forth on this one. So Don Golding.
So you're Dr. Ting, and where are you, Dr. Ting?
Oh, I'm in San Mateo.
Great.
Then,
Okay, Bill Ragsdale is the next on my screen.
Okay, team, I'm in Woodland, California, about 20 miles east of Sacramento, west of Sacramento. We're closer to the Sacramento airport than Sacramento is, just north of Davis a little bit. I've got about 4 loose ends, some of which might be interesting. I did tic-tac-toe challenge a long time ago, and I was working toward, but did not wrap up a learning system that you play with it and it learns and gets better and better and better. I saw a version of that incidentally years ago where someone had taken something in the range of 30 matchboxes and put toothpicks in the matchboxes, and you played tic-tac-toe, and as you played games, you took toothpicks out of the matchboxes, and ultimately you ended up with a strategy that would always win at tic-tac-toe. I thought that was very ingenious. And I hope we can develop some more challenges for the coming year. So back to Fearless Leader, Kevin. Kevin's on mute.
If my cursor isn't on the right screen, my mute spacebar doesn't work. I've learned this over and over again and forget it 2 minutes thereafter. And I'd like to say that any of you can suggest challenges, and we'd be grateful for that. So it's a lot faster than putting together a talk, and it's effective at providing content for these meetings. And all it requires is that great spark of inspiration. You see something out in the world, or you're working on some problem, and you say, "Oh, measuring temperature for a project in class, that's a great challenge." And I've come up a couple of these, and some of them have been poo-pooed as not being practical. So why don't we do the brainstorming sort of approach to things and suggest challenges and leave it to us to later poo-poo them. But I've always felt that some of this stuff is kind of ineffective at being towards solutions to problems, but in this case, I think it's applicable. So send me, you should be seeing in the chat my email address, forther@comcast.net. So send me your challenge suggests, or send them directly to Bill. We'd be pleased to hear them. We promise not to mock you. That's hard. I feel so tempted. All right, next up, Tabeman, Tabemann. Where are you? Who are you? Obviously, What do you suggest for what you'd like to present or who you'd like to present?
Well, I wasn't anticipating presenting anything, but I could always talk about what I've been working on since 2019, if you'd like.
And what was that?
I've been working on a combination fourth and RTOS called Zeptoforth.
That sounds interesting. Drop me a line.
Well, it runs on a number of different Cortex M microcontrollers, specifically the STM32F746, the STM32F407, the STM32L476, and of course those discovery boards. To run on non-discovery boards, you'll need to do a bit of adaptation, but it shouldn't require much. And it also runs on the Raspberry Pi Pico.
That sounds interesting. Drop me a line. Maybe you can put there a talk in January or sometime in the next few months. That it does sound very interesting, though. Sure. So, Brad, you're next on my screen. You care to share anything in the near future besides your?
I'm Brad Nelson. I'm in Mountain View, California. I do this and that with Forth. A thing I'm probably gonna, oh, you can't see it with the background on. There we go. A thing I've been fiddling with of late is the ESP32 Forth and getting it to run on some of the newer ESP32 variants. The thing I'm fiddling with at the moment that I will surely want to talk about at some point is my struggle to, I kid you not, get a single LED to turn on. It turns out that on these newer boards, we've entered a world of shocking complexity in which there's actually a serial protocol to turn on and off an LED. Now, it's granted it's an RGB LED, so they're trying to do more with less, a single pin to control it. But nonetheless, it's fascinating how they've done the LED on this particular board, and that'll be something I'll want to talk about in the future, I guess.
Cool. The guy whose tag is Chris.
Yes, hello. My name is egentligen Christer Nygren, but I think it's easier to say Chris. I'm from Gothenburg, Sweden, west of Sweden. And I'm just interested in Fort and have been since 1981. The first computer I rented was a TRS-80. And after that, I found interested in Fort, but I've nothing else done that collecting things. So I do have a Novix processor in my cellar and the Jupiter Ace and some Fort stuff. So, and I've been busy with the wife and motorcycling and things the last couple of years, but now I'm returning to programming. So I found this YouTube video from your last meeting, and I thought it was good to get acquainted with your group and listen in to what you have to say. And for the occasion, I also went to buy this this shirt. So now I'm a part of the group. Yep, that's all. Yep.
I've always threatened to show my my T-shirt collection. I have one of those. I feel like Chuck should get a piece of the action from that shirt. Anyway, this today's T-shirt is from Enmis, the mobile instrumentation platform ship. Goes out. I'm familiar with it. Trident missile tests. I don't know if any of you are aware of it. Sort of like once a year, pretty much every year since dawn of time, they go out in a submarine and shoot off some presumably unarmed Trident missiles. And there's a ship in the launch area and another ship in the terminal area to receive telemetry. And there are pieces of that have fourth in them. So I'm very proud of that piece of history. So I feel like every time somebody mentions a t-shirt, I have to chip in on the Tropic t-shirts.
Is there any fourth in the Trident missile?
How would I know? And if I knew, I couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell. Yes, thank you. I like that.
You always tell if I'm talking about any of this stuff, you can go to Wikipedia and see everything I'm saying, or in the olden days, it would be Aviation Week. Everything that I talk about in that regard, I go and read it again to be sure that this that I'm talking about is stuff that you can read out elsewhere. You know, there's lots of interesting things, and you have to be careful about what you say. All right, the thing I'd like to suggest, my email is forther@comcast.net. It's in the chat. Any speaker suggestions, anything that you'd like to talk about? I want each of you to think about that. And if nothing else, send me an email with somebody you'd like to hear about, or some programming challenge that you'd like to suggest, or what you'd like to speak about. I'd like to hear from all of you. There are 17 of you right now, and I expect to get at least 17 emails. And you ne'er-do-wells that are out there in YouTube land watching this, my good heavens, I'm hoping Brad will break this off as a separate little, maybe 1 minute deal. And hopefully you guys will send me your suggestions. You know, you are formally obligated to complete this request.